Hi there, welcome to the Cult of Cinema. My name is Aaron, and tonight we are looking at a couple releases from Mill Creek that I really want to talk about. And we have Ultraman, well, Ultra 7X, and the Superior 8 Ultraman, Ultra Brothers. This is a movie. This is a TV series. We'll talk about the TV series first. I had seen this one previously a few years back, and I was actually a big fan of this. Now, this is a very different Ultraman than some of the stuff that you're probably used to seeing. This is a darker Ultraman in many different ways. This was the first Ultraman series that was made not particularly just for kids. This was meant to be your dad's, maybe, I guess your dad's, in a cooler way, your dad's Ultraman, a more of an adult, darker tone for the Ultraman series. See, we have the Showa era of Ultraman, we have the Heisei era of Ultraman, which we're going to get into when I talk about the movie again there in a second. But this one here is Ultra 7X. Ultra 7, the name carries a lot of weight behind it because the original Ultra 7 in the Showa era is considered by most Ultraman fans to be the best season of Ultraman. Ultra 7 is darker, it's edgier, it has just a bit more bite to it than previous seasons did, and even a lot of the future seasons did. They did get a bit more kiddie as they went on. Now, not in a bad way for me. I love the type of stuff. I'm a kid at heart. But Ultra 7 gives a darker vibe to it. So when Ultra 7X was announced, we knew they were going to be going in kind of this direction. So I'm not quite sure how long the Matrix or anything happened at the time, but this Ultraman he's meant to be kind of a cool guy. He's got like a long, big flowing Matrixy type jacket on, Neo type jacket. There is a team, a really cool team of spies in this. I think it's called the Duos, basically the Duos agency. And the girl in this one is really, really good. She kicks butt. Here, the really neat thing about this one is this is a great Ultraman design, by the way. It harkens back to a couple other of the earlier designs. But one of the neat things about this is, and for some people this is going to be a negative, but for me, I thought they did well because the fighting in this is actually really well choreographed. There can be a lot of time where there's no Ultraman at all in this. Now, this only runs 12 episodes, so it's a pretty quick watch, easy to get through. You can probably get through it in a day or two. There is no film associated with this series here, as there would have been with some of the other ones. There is Ultra 7X has 12 episodes, run around 20-30 minutes each, and it's a fun series. So basically what it is there's a guy named Jin. He's an amnesiac, because you get this happen a lot in Ultraman, and he meets up with these with his people to kind of stop the bad guys, and he does it a lot as himself. Some people find the character of Jin to be a bit more he's a bit of a straight man, a bit more bland. I don't think so. I just think he's kind of like that era of what the cool is supposed to be, kind of the stout word, kind of cool, doesn't talk too much, pretty much lets his actions speak for him. I wish I knew her name. I should have looked it up. But the girl in this one here is so good, so good. She really does carry the show a lot. On the inside, as always, there is different artwork, and you see, as opposed to a lot of the Ultraman ones where they'll have a monster or something on the back, this one here has as a picture of two of the main characters, and it makes sense for this show. Even on the inside of it, it's got a different style and a different look to it. This is definitely meant to be a more serious Ultraman, and I definitely recommend it. This is a really cool show. I've been liking a lot of these newer era Ultraman series. There were some that I missed out on. This luckily was one that I think I'd seen most of. I hadn't seen all of it. So getting able to sit down and watch it all together was really cool, and really, really enjoyed it. But let's get to the crowd pleaser. It doesn't matter what era of Ultraman you like, this has something for everybody. Ultraman Superior 8 Ultra Brothers is the most successful Ultraman film ever made. Like many of the Ultraman films, it was released theatrically. It made the most money of any Ultraman film that was released theatrically, and there's a really good reason for this. The current Ultraman at the time was Ultraman Mebius. I hope I got that right. And this was a film to celebrate Ultraman. because it starts out with three kids running home. It's in 1966 to watch Ultraman for the first time. We get to see Ultraman on the screen. We get to see the reactions to it. The kids are later outside when this mysterious girl with red shoes appears seemingly out of nowhere and starts to play with them. They see a star in the sky and they all wish upon the star. We go to years later, and the main character is Dago, and he hasn't done what he wished that he wanted to do. Actually, none of them really have. One of them actually tried. He wanted to be like a baseball star, but it didn't work out. And another one wanted to be like a scientist that made like spaceships. And none of them have really kind of fulfilled their potential. Suddenly, a mirage appears in the middle of the sky, up in the sky, and Dago sees Ultraman fighting a monster. At first, he thinks it's a dream because that's what we're led to believe at the beginning. But this opens up pretty much the multiverse for the Ultraman series, and this is well done. So what you get in here is not just Ultraman Mebius, because he's not in it a lot actually. He's in it at the beginning and at the end, but what you get here are three of the Heisei era Ultraman. And everybody, they're in on a Universal Ultraman is basically just a show. They've never seen Ultraman before. We've seen him on TV, but he's never been like a real character. There's no monsters in this universe. So apparently this is the place where Ultraman go, or like where versions of them go, and they don't remember that they were Ultraman. How many? Well, there are 4 of the Showa era Ultraman in this, and yes, as far as I can tell, it does look like the original actors. So we have the original Ultraman, we have Ultra Jack from Return of Ultraman, we have Ultra Ace, and we have, of course, Ultra 7. Always a fan favorite. And of the Heisei era, we get Ultraman Dyna, Ultraman Tiga, and Ultraman Gaia. And oh man, does this work. It brings in villains from the Ultra 7 era of the series to kind of like the Darker era, and you can really tell it really plays well with that. It does a combination of some computer animation, but most of the characters are the old school suits. So if you're an Ultraman fan, that's what you want to see. I want to see the old school like monster suits, and they are in here throughout most of it. The last fight is with a computer one, and actually it's not bad for what was done. And you got to take into consideration the time. What makes this really good is if you're an Ultraman fan, there are so many throwbacks and to other Ultramans and earlier Ultraman shows. We even get like flashback scenes when they start to remember who they are. We flash through little scenes of different episodes of them like fighting as Ultraman and in the human form too. So we get to see, especially it makes a really big kind of like, it's kind of good for the heart, especially when looking at the older Showa Ultraman guys. And they're older now, and we're getting to see them, and it's flashing back to when they were young and when they played Ultraman originally. They get a threat so epic that all the Ultra Brothers have to come together, all 8 of them, and face off against this basically creature of despair, because I can't remember what his name is in Ultra 7 right now. And he really, it really goes well. I really love this movie. This took me back to being a kid again, but you don't have to be a kid to like Ultraman. Or maybe you've never seen Ultraman episode before. It's okay. You can still enjoy this here. Now, you will get, definitely there's going to be more mileage if you've watched Ultraman before. But even if you haven't, this is fantastic. This runs, I think, like 97 minutes long. It's not a long movie. It is gorgeous, though. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous movie. There is some great coloring in this, like the great color timing. It just looked gorgeous. I had it on my TV. I had it on my 4K first, and I'm having an issue with my Xbox, so I actually had to take it upstairs to my review room, and I played it on a 1080p there. So I started off on a Sony, and I ended up finishing off on my upstairs, and I think it was on my Samsung television. And it on both TVs, it looked stunning. It looked gorgeous. I was nervous first because it started to digitize a bit in the middle, and I thought it was the disc, but it turned out my Xbox is dying, and I got this out just before the Xbox had a chance to ruin it. So thank God for that, because man, this is so good. If you like Ultraman at all, this is fantastic. If you like Takatsu and you've never got into Ultraman, here, watch this. Trust me, you'll go back, you'll buy more of these. If you've never bought Ultraman before, jump in. This is a great place. You can watch this with the whole family. It is fun. It's definitely has its cheeser moments, but not in a bad way, in the best way possible. I am probably one of the biggest Ultraman fans in the world. I know there's probably some big ones on here that actually have Tokusatsu channels like around this type of stuff. But yeah, I loved both of these releases. These are two of my favorite Ultraman releases that came out in a while. Ultra 7X, it gets a bad rap sometimes, but I don't think it deserves it. I think it's actually a pretty good show. It goes darker for like it's like Ultra 7's gone darker before, but this is meant to be darker. This is meant to be more of like he's not always Ultraman. There's going to be fights in staircases and places like that where it's him and where it's the other agents fighting off against these against people. There's still the monsters. You're going to get your monsters, don't worry, but you're going to get some more. So if you thought, oh, well, that Ultraman might be a little bit on the kiddier side for me, then I say, well, the original show Ultraman 7, but you should probably check out. But if you want to get like what's essentially meant to be more of an adult, more kind of a darker, edgier Ultraman Ultra 7X really kind of fills that need for me. And but Superior 8 Ultra Brothers, man, do not miss out on this. Both of these are must-have releases, especially this film here if you're an Ultraman fan, or even if you're not. It's just a really cool film. The picture quality on this is utterly fantastic. The colors pop like crazy. It looks gorgeous when you put it into in there. The sound, oh my God. Did this movie, I'm not sure what so it's got a DTS Master Audio 5.1 surround sound. And oh my God, did this ever like work my surround sound system? More than I've had like Marvel movies and like DC films and blockbusters and all that type of thing. But this movie right here, this got the most, the surround sound is incredible. My cousin like remarked on it. He couldn't believe it. My better half, she was like, this is the biggest workout our surround sound system has ever got. And we had Star Wars and stuff in here. It's like it gets loud and booming. And when the fights are going on, it's just really good. It really immerses you into the story. So definitely check these out. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Let me know if you pick these up, if you're going to pick them up. My name is Aaron. You have just been Takatsu'd. This is the Cult of Cinema. Remember, there are many Ultramen. There's a whole 8 Ultra Brothers right there, but there is only one you. So be kind to yourself, be kind to others, pay that forward, and I will see you soon right here again in the Cult of Cinema.